Good evening. The A38 tunnels in Birmingham city centre could be closed permanently as part of major transport reforms. It's just one idea being considered as part of a 20-year plan looking at the future of travel across the city. Every day, Birmingham residents make approximately 2.8 million journeys in and out of the city, but 250,000 of those journeys are less than 1 mile long. There are also 500,000 journeys on public transport across the city. Our transport correspondent, Peter Plisner, reports on what these radical proposals could actually mean for the city and its commuters.
This summer's closure of the A38 tunnels for maintenance, despite fears of gridlock, congestion wasn't a major issue. Now, following that closure, the debate has started on the exact role of the tunnels, which in some places are hindering development. From this vantage point, you get a good idea of why the role of the A38 and the tunnels is currently being debated. On that side of the road, the bustling Colmore business district, but on this side, derelict land currently being occupied by a car park. The A38 is acting as a barrier to development, and the City Council wants that to change. At this morning's launch of a new 20-year vision for transport in Birmingham, the future of the tunnels was being talked about.
They are not ruling out anything. The fact is we're going into a discussion for some 3 or 4 months, and all these issues, these concerns, if there are concerns, will come out in that discussion.
Consultants hired by the council to put together today's report maintain that it can be done.
There was an urban motorway in San Francisco that used to run along the side of the bay that carried more traffic than our A38 does, about 110,000 vehicles a day. And one day they decided they were going to close that and turn it into a fully pedestrianised environment. And San Francisco is one of the most successful cities in the world.
The report also talks about big improvements to public transport, which in some places will mean less road space for cars. Dual carriageways like this could be changed into routes like this, featuring special public transport-only lanes.
This is not an anti-car policy. I mean, if I was a car driver in Birmingham 10 years from now and we'd done nothing, I would be frustrated, whatever the time of day I was seeking to come in or out of Birmingham.
Anti-car or not, the improvements have certainly gone down well with environmentalists.
I describe it as having a vision of transport that benefits all types of transport and is also very good for people, for pedestrians, for cyclists. Cycling is in there and is quite prominent, which is really refreshing and positive.
The council will now launch a major consultation on the ideas put forward in the new transport vision, and it promises to be a lively debate.
And Peter's next to the A38 tonight. Well, this will raise a few eyebrows. How can Birmingham possibly function, Peter, without its tunnels?
Well, I think the easy answer is it can't right now, but it might not have to. This is only one option being discussed, and of course, the fact is that this is more likely to become a through route, some of the junctions being removed. And we've seen it before. The precedent has been set. Mass House Circus on Birmingham's east side was razed to the ground about 15 years ago. Many people said we couldn't do without that. Yet what we've seen since is the concrete collar removed and development has happened in the east side. We also saw it again when the Bullring was built. And of course, we saw a roundabout disappear and replaced by the shopping centre. We stopped driving and we started shopping instead.
It's clearly a radical document. I mean, even the improved bus lanes will mean less space for cars, won't they?
Well, it has been dubbed anti-car, and bus lanes simply aren't popular. They're pretty controversial. The last administration that was running Birmingham decided to remove some that people didn't like. What also isn't in this report is road pricing, and that, I think, will please a fair few drivers. What it is, I think, is not anti-car, but pro-people.
Clearly something's got to be done, hasn't it, about the congestion on the road. So public transport looks like the answer, does it?
Well, I think they want to get more people onto public transport and out of their cars, but equally people onto their bikes and walking. As you said earlier, 250,000 journeys every day by car are less than a mile. Those are just the sort of journeys that could be done on the bike or on foot.
Peter, thank you. We've been asking for your views on the 20-year plan. Thanks for your emails, your tweets and Facebook messages. Wahida emailed, closing the A38 tunnel will only add to further congestion within the city. Rob tweeted us, Birmingham couldn't get any more anti-car. It's a joke driving around town. One-way, traffic lights, bus lane hell. 7 in 7 Big Bike tweeted, Birmingham would be so much a better place to work, live and visit if cycle lanes existed. Then a tweet from Ruth Hopkins. Hope the plans are inclusive. Numbers of wheelchair users and disabled people will only increase with an ageing population. Thanks to all of you for getting in touch. Now, coming up later in the programme, never mind